welcome to day 15. You guys, we are going over the hump. I cannot believe we are this deep into the program. I hope everybody is already feeling incredible. I know that I'm personally getting text messages from people that are like game changer, the food pairing. One of our motivators sent me a message and she's like, girl, you got me eating this nasty bread, the Ezekiel bread. So I know that people are benefiting and I'm starting to see people posting and sharing about it. So that is amazing. We're only talking about 15 days to a life changer. So thanks for bearing with us. And we're so excited to jump into today's topic. It's really about frequency. We're going to kind of call this like the noise pollution, but I want to talk about both sides. I want to talk about noise pollution and then like noise homeostasis and how that affects us. So who better than Jared and Lau of Pura Vida Vibrations? This is their bread and butter healing modality, among other things. So let's jump in. And do you guys want to tee it up just talking about frequency, noise, good or bad?
I think that the word noise, at least for us, it refers to something that is not positive. It's something that it's unusual, that it's referred to noise contamination, actually. So as every sound that exists, everything is frequency. And that frequency is something that you can perceive or not through your ears, through the sense. Sometimes it's the body that receives and feels those frequencies. So this noise contamination is highly intertwined with all the frequencies that we don't hear, but that they're also affecting or influencing the body. As simple as it can be, think in nature. If you're alone in nature, in a place where there's no humans, there's no technology, there's nothing, that is the natural state that helps the body to heal and that brings the body into homeostasis and harmony. Every step or every stage where we are farther away from that, it's more and more intense and taxing for the nervous system and the body. Because one, whether we hear it, if we live in a city where there's noise of all sorts, ambulances, airplanes, trains, people.
Jackhammers.
Think of the busiest city that influences our nervous
In Tamarindo, Chiquito, nightclub, vibrating. Exactly.
All that has a negative influence in our health because it's really far away from natural state.
And it's because it's a vibration. You know, going back to the lesson we talked about the other day where you guys showed me a sound bowl and how these vibrations were exciting the water, where our body is largely made of water. It is not like, even if you say, oh, I'm not affected by noise, physically you're going to be.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's people more sensitive to those things than others, but literally all that information constantly, especially if you live in the city, it's really bringing that information into the body and is activating the fight or flight response, whether you're aware of it or not.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that here that have lived in big cities over the years or in areas that have tons of noise, like, oh, that doesn't affect me. Maybe consciously you've become used to it and you can sleep through 100 ambulances and fire trucks driving right by, you don't even notice. But like Lau says, just because it's not maybe being registered through the ear, it does have an effect on us.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what can we do to, number one, minimize noise, and then what can we also do to maximize natural sounds and healing sounds like sound bowls and gongs and didgeridoos and all the good stuff.
Okay, so to minimize is to become aware of what's in your house, because that's the way to control things, or the easiest way to control your environment is in your home. Maybe you are not gonna move out of the city, we cannot control the number of ambulances, but inside your home, just check all the electronic devices that you have. Number one, TV. If you have your TV on or your radio on all day because you cannot stand being in silence, because you have to have some background noise, literally, that is the number one thing that you can control, that you can change in your environment. But not just what you can hear or see, like TV or radio, but all the electrical appliances that you have, including microwave, which we highly recommend to get rid of it.
Throw it out.
Huh?
Throw it out.
Throw it out.
Completely.
People come over here and they're like, where's your microwave? And I'm like, I don't have one.
We don't have one here. These things, even the hair dryer, the electrical razor, the dishwasher, everything
I
that
have to tell you, this is so funny. I love that I'm talking to Atika because I feel like this is a continuation of lessons from the Blue Zones. Our maids are so funny. They absolutely hate using the vacuum cleaner because it's too loud. And the gardener will not use a leaf blower. He will be out there forever. They don't like that noise. And it's like, we've just developed an adaptation to these noises, but they're not natural and they're not healthy.
So it's just like that, as simple as that. All the electrical appliances generate these frequencies.
Right.
Those, some of them are audible, most of them are not necessarily, but is what is in your house, what you can choose to stop using because of convenience again,
Right.
and what you don't really, or what is causing disease, especially kids that watch TV all day, or that, of course, number one thing I would say, your cell phone and the computer. If we're stuck like with the cell,
Particularly with the ringer on. I cannot stand when someone has the ringer on.
Yeah.
Or even the vibration. It's such a huge distraction beyond it not being cellularly healthy. So let's talk about your work, because I know one of the most interesting things, Jared, you actually had shared with me is that, we're always trying to get out of, I wrote about this in the B book too. Like we want to have a balance in our brain waves so that we can create coherence, and we tend to grind and stay in beta. So I know when we do sound journeys, we head into our alphas and theta states, but I also think it was so interesting. You had seen a study where the high frequency, like only monks get, that people can instantly transition into that type of frequency with a didgeridoo, which is they have one, loud plays it, it's incredible. So can we just talk about a little bit about when people do sound journeys, which again, you guys can do these with headsets. This is do this at night so it doesn't disrupt your sleep. You put yourself in the right brainwaves. Just talk a little bit about that and what I'm going to say the purpose of the sound journeys are, the sound healing.
We got two different variations. Obviously, everybody at home with the sound journey or watching or listening to something online or something like that from your device is a little bit differently. But basically, these instruments entrain our brain waves. And drawing a blank.
from train waves into theta brain waves. We go from alpha to beta, which is normal activity.
Beta to alpha.
Yeah, well, but I mean, those are the activities you're studying, you're working, you're hustling.
I call the beta the time to make the donuts phase. Remember that old commercial there where the guy was like, time to make the donuts. I made the donuts. Time to make the donuts. It was a really positive commercial, but I just thought, have that time to take care of the kids, time to make the food. And these are brainwaves that we may not ever access. It's like the childlike play. It's the dreamy state where we really get into our creative flow and all that. And I love that sound can create that.
So as it entrains our brainwaves, it's very similar to breathing. It helps us relax the body and get into the parasympathetic nervous system. From the alpha, which is like you mentioned, it's a little bit more creative, childlike play. Okay, you get to theta, now the body downshifts into parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, and that's where our body is detoxing, doing all these beautiful things. It's also very interesting that when we're in theta, that's the doorway to the subconscious mind. And what happens in the subconscious mind, that's where all these programs and beliefs that we have, that's where they're then becoming manifest in our world. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't love myself. I'm not worthy. Like all of these things are there in the subconscious mind. So I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it, but it's also very interesting to be able to implant. Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about self-hypnosis, where we can implant positive affirmations and auto-suggestions to rewrite those programs when we're in theta. Mm-hmm. So we've got, because
I think what would be amazing, Jared, is you guys are going to do a sound journey. We'll put all the information in the email. And then when we do the sound journey, you could start it off with some of these concepts so that people are going a little bit more mindful into the sound journey. I think that would be incredible. You guys are so generous with your time to do that. I want to come do it. When's the next sound journey? It's always better in person, but I do think, in years past, you guys have done belief tracks, and it's been a game changer. So first of all, let me say this before we wrap for today. I really encourage you guys to continue on with Jared and Lyle's programs, because if you like what we're doing in my program, their program is just a continuation of it with more support for the long term. I feel like this is the teaser, this is the taste, this is to get you going, but doing a deep dive with these guys, staying with them for a year, coming to the retreats, all of that can be super life-changing. So the bottom line of today is that we do want to minimize these, I'm just going to call it annoying noises and frequencies, and try to be as close to possible as natural sounds in nature and also natural instruments.
And
Those are
silence.
the things that are going to help bring us into cohesion. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you guys for joining us for day 15. Join us for day 16. We're really going to be talking about the benefits of sunbathing, which I know my mom was like, get out of the sun, put on sun protection. So it's a teeny bit of a controversial subject, but we need sunlight, guys, and you're going to learn all the reasons why tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow, everybody.